You're good enough for Detroit, Jay.
But he can't bear what comes from
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Here comes that pressure. Mayfield in the middle. It's intercepted. It's Derek Barnes. Seattle's got to make a stop. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to throw it back to Goff. Who had that on the bingo card? And a second. Oh, here's a little trickery. St. Brown back to God. Leaves Flicker's got Laporta wide open. Sam Laporta foot race towards the end zone. Diving touchdown. Unreal. 52 for the win. It is just good. Just inside the upright. Jake Bates, hometown hero. And the Lions have come all the way back. Here comes the heat. It's Hutchinson again. Number 3, the hat trick for Aiden Hutchinson.
Blocked there by Zylstra. It's caught by Jamison Williams. There he goes. Foot race with Miller. Foot race with Savage. That is 6 for number 9.
I'm good. Let's go, guys. Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to... Wait, what is going on? Oh, my God. I'm hearing sting in my ears right now. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the pregame show. Lions, Eagles, I am your host, joined by 2 guys as always. Mr. Malcolm Hart. Here, boys, how we feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great. Sunday Night Football. I'm excited. Malcolm, what's up with you, bro?
Woo! What is going on, guys? Yo, Sunday Night Football, man. Lions versus Eagles, man. I'm excited, man. Let's go.
Been waiting all day for Sunday night, baby. Let's go. This is going to be a fun one. Me and Pierre talked this early in the week. I said this is the NFC Championship game that we should have had last year. This is the game that America wanted in the NFC Championship game. So you get this tonight. Lions, Eagles. Let's get into the injury report, and then we're going to break down this game. So let's start off with the Philadelphia Eagles injury report. Pierre, you want to go ahead and read that one off?
Yeah, quarterback Sam Howell, cornerback Mac Williams, running back A.J. Dillon, Drew Kendall, and Ty Robinson all out. Looks like they're all healthy scratches. Sam Howell's the 3rd quarterback. Eagles are healthy. Everyone's practicing on the 53-man roster. Everyone's playing.
Yep.
Like, these guys are healthy scratches, looks like it. So they're healthy.
Yep. We talked about in their injury report earlier in the week that they didn't have any non-participants earlier on the week, and that stayed true for the week. So, yeah, they are a healthy team. They got their 53-man roster out there. Now, for the Lions side, that is not necessarily the same question. Malcolm, want to go ahead and read that off?
Yeah, man, not the same story, man. So, starting off with upcoming star cornerback Taron Arnold, man. He is not playing today. He's inactive. Quentin Jefferson, defensive lineman, is inactive. Kirby Joseph, this is a big one for Detroit Lions. Kirby Joseph, he's out. He's not playing today. Kirby Joseph is out. Tom Kennedy, wide receiver, he's inactive. Craig Reynolds, also inactive. And last but not least, Kai Wingo, he is inactive. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, Pierre, we have some injury reports, too, to talk about. Some guys listed on IR.
So Sam Laporta was placed on IR. And then Tom Kennedy was actually activated for the game, but he's not playing because Tesla is fine. So Tesla popped up an injury report yesterday. He's fine, though. So that's why TK is a healthy scratch.
There you go.
But yeah, so, Sam Laporta will miss at least 4 games.
Yeah, that's a bummer, man, because that was a big 3rd down target for a team that's not been great on 3rd down this year. So that is a bummer to lose him for minimum 4 weeks. He popped up in the injury report. I mean, it's a little surprising. I didn't know the severity of it at the time. And obviously, it looks like it's more serious than initially thought. But hopefully, it's not a season-ending thing and that he could be back at some point during the season and help this Detroit Lions playoff team, because they're going to need him back, for that stretch run in December and hopefully, obviously, in January.
Yeah, when they rolled him out, I thought it was going to be 1 week. But then I saw 4. I was like, that's a big blow, man. Mm-hmm. It's a big 1 week. Like, you could, it's whatever.
Yeah,
you got right, but for 4 weeks hurts because the tight end depth is not all that after Brock Wright. It's just not.
Yeah, it stinks. So hopefully he could be back soon at some point, and like I said, he could be part of this run. So, all right, let's talk about this Detroit Lions offense, this Philadelphia Eagles defense. Man, I'm really excited, guys. I really am. I think this is such a good matchup on both sides. Overall, in this whole game, man, there's just so many superstars, 2 very, very talented teams, and Honestly, I think two teams that are not playing to their peak levels right now with all the talent that they have on both sides. Obviously, you saw a very dominant game from the Lions offensively this week. And we got report from Jay Glazer this morning on Fox saying that Dan Campbell will permanently be calling plays for the rest of the season. So that is going to be the thing going forward. So I'm going to start off with you, Pierre. Second week, Dan Campbell under play calls. We saw obviously a very good product last week in Washington. You're playing a better team this week with Philadelphia. What do you expect to see out there today?
That was expected, first of all, calling plays for the rest of the year. I don't think Campbell was going to call plays. All right, Morton, you can have it back after these. No, Campbell's going to finish calling plays. One thing I am a little concerned about this week versus last week, Washington is not really a hostile environment. At least last week wasn't. Philly's going to be loud. Communication has to be on point with Campbell, with the other coaches and the players and everything. So it's going to be really loud. And the Lions have had communication issues this year a little bit. So communication has to be on point, and hopefully they clean that up for this week.
Absolutely. The two big losses that you could bring up this year are the Green Bay game, the Minnesota game a couple weeks ago, right? And the two big things that we heard that was a big thing on why those losses led to losses ultimately was communication, right? Offensive line play was not good at all, right? And they were just not in sync with the play calling. And you hope now this week, like you said, hostile environment, now Dan Campbell calling plays, that they get that under right. Because, I said it last week when he played in Washington, something the Lions fans are unbelievably incredibly with is traveling, right? And with the Lions, they don't experience many road games. Today's going to be one of those true road games because Philadelphia doesn't let you take over their stadium. Lions fans are going to be in attendance. You're going to see some Honolulu Blue in Philly today at the Link, but they're not going to let you fully take over. That's just Philadelphia, man. There are some places you can't fully take over, and that's one of them, and that's the Link, Philadelphia. So Pierre's completely 100% correct. The communication has to be on point. And something I thought that was interesting that I think some fans took maybe the wrong way was when they got the Jameson Williams touchdown last week, right? And Fox showed Dan Campbell. It looked like he was getting excited, but we heard from Amon-Ra St. Brown on his podcast earlier this week saying it was more of that he didn't get the full play call off to Jared Goff, and he was more frustrated with himself rather than he thought this play was going to be a touchdown. So a lot of people just assumed that he thought that was a touchdown, but that was not the story. So yeah, Dan Campbell, obviously he's called plays in the past before, but not something that's been obviously in his forte, not in his bag. Ultimately for the big, picture, just because we've had Ben Johnson for so many years, getting those plays off quickly, and then obviously being able to, communicate with your team and everyone, all 11 guys on the offense have to be in sync. Offensive line, Jared Goff, receivers, tight end, whoever's out there, everyone has to be in sync. This is a big game because you mess around here with Philadelphia, they're gonna pay for your mistakes, man. This is not one of those teams where you can make many mistakes and you're gonna get let off the hook. So Detroit has to be on point today, and just being creative on both sides, passing game, running game. We saw a very good balance last week in Washington, so hopefully we can continue to see that balance. But Malcolm, you look at this week, you're playing Philadelphia, good defense. What do you expect to see out there offensively?
You know what? I think the biggest thing right now, man, is, since this is going to be Dan Campbell's second game, is just to see how creative is he going to be, round two of Dan Campbell. You don't want it to be the same thing and have team pick up on it. And now we have another Johnny Morton situation because Johnny Morton, he had the first 2 weeks and he was looking like he was on fire. And then I don't know where that tape went out. Everybody kind of knew what he was going to do. And then I don't know where it's like, oh, you're dry. Your offense is dry as shit. What's going on? So, hopefully Dan Campbell keeps this creative momentum and just keep things going and have things different and, keep Philadelphia on their toes, man.
Yeah. Pierre, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Sam Laporta being out there, you mentioned Brock Wright to step into that role, and that's obviously going to be the guy that's going to step up because he's been the second tight end, and he's already had some opportunities, some reps in this offense with Sam Laporta. Who are some other guys you expect to kind of fill in that void, maybe especially on third down, or just in general without Sam Laporta out there for at least 4 weeks?
So this might sound crazy, but the Lions brung up Jackson Meeks, and Campbell hinted that he's been practicing at tight end.
Wow.
So Jackson Meeks is a name to watch there. That big wideout they had in camp was playing well in preseason.
It's fun, yeah.
So maybe we'll see him a little at tight end. I am not sure. Something to watch there, but I think this week, when you look at Philadelphia, they like to play a lot of base, but when teams go in 11 personnel, meaning one tight end and one running back, and 12 would be Lions typically play in 12, but last week they ran a lot of 11. So with Philly they like to be in base, but when teams go in 11, they primarily go to nickel. When you go to nickel, you attack Joey Jackson in coverage, or you attack Kelly Ringo if he's out there. Whoever, like, you go at those guys. Those are their guys that have struggled this year in coverage. So I think the Lions are going to run a lot of 11 personnel this week. Isaac Tesla and Khalif Raymond are this week's probably like we're going to replace more Sam Laporta if that sort of makes sense.
Yeah. And then overall, what do you expect him to do offensively? We talked about it on Wednesday in our pregame show. Two pretty shutdown corners with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, but then we mentioned there's an opening there with the Dory Jackson. Do you expect to see the Lions attack that side of the field when he's out there?
Yeah, and something with Cooper DeJean. I think he's better in the nickel. When he's on the outside, I still think you could attack him. Sure. I don't think he's like a shutdown corner. Like, I think he's a good corner, but I don't think he's like an elite corner. Mm-hmm. But I would do outside zone, baby. Attack those edges, attack those corners, outside zone all day with Jahmyr Gibbs in this game. You don't want to run in the middle with Jalen Carter and Big Jordan Davis there. You want to attack their edges and their nickels and their corners. That's what I would do.
Yeah, you want to avoid the big fuckers, as we like to say, right? And that's
and Nolan Smith, smaller edge rusher too. So attack him. Go at them. You have your size. Go at these guys, man.
Yeah. They have those two big Georgia boys in the middle. Let's avoid those guys as much as
possible.
Also,
Ajomo is a dog in pass rush. He's really good. So,
with me, man, to be honest, we have a lot of weapons. I think that's the good thing with Detroit, that they have so many weapons. And I think missing Laporta may not be that huge of a deal, for the next few weeks as we think it's going to be, because we have so many weapons. And, there's a lot of ball that could go around with these weapons. So I think, even Brock Wright, man, the name you didn't mention, Brock Wright, is a guy who, before Laporta, showed up big with Jared Goff. He had a big connection with Jared Goff. So I think we can see a big game from Brock Wright this game. Brock Wright could come out huge this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Ultimately, like, the Laporta loss obviously sucks because he does so much for the team, but like you said, man, like, they have so many guys to fill in the void. I mean, even the guys that haven't got necessarily big opportunities, they're ready to go. Like, Brock Wright, like you said, like, we've already seen him this season in some certain opportunities. They trust him a lot. And I don't like, it's obviously a downgrade from Laporta as a starter, but he's still a very good viable option. Now it's, different guys have to step up. Khalif Raymond, Isaac Tesla, like, this is your opportunity now. Let's see what you could do. They drafted in the third round. Like, let's go. Come on, this is your opportunity. Obviously different position, but what I'm saying? Just like, guys have to fill in that void. And I'm curious to see third down, because that was a big one. Because obviously Amon-Ra is the big one we always looked on third down, but I think Sam Laporta is the number 2 option after him. So who's going to fill in that void? Is it going to be a Brock Wright? Is it going to be a Jameson Williams? It's going to be multiple different guys. That's what I think it'll probably be ultimately everyone, right? There's not going to be one guy or two guys. It's going to be a bunch of guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fill in that void. Obviously a big loss, but I think Malcolm hit on the point. I think they have the options to fill in that void and still be completely fine overall as an offense.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch gears to the Lions defense now versus this Philadelphia Eagles offense. Obviously, you look at this Eagles offense, you just see superstar after superstar after superstar, and with the great offensive line, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, who's been still kicking it. He's still really good. Peter, you look at this Eagles offense, I named those superstars, but they're not playing to their potential. What do you see this Lions defense doing tonight to contain them and not be a problem?
So I look at the Eagles offense, and honestly, I don't think they have like one glaring like weakness. Like,
fair.
I think all
with the players, yes, personnel-wise.
With the players. Yep. Now, since they switched OCs, Kellen Moore was the OC. Now it's I think Kevin Patullo. I think I said his name. I'm not sure. There's been some issues. They don't really like to throw the ball downfield. They're being more safe. They're limiting turnovers. But when they get into the red zone, Tyler, they're number 1 in red zone offense. Okay. They still got Saquon Barkley. He's not having the year he's having, but dude, he could still pop off. I've watched him. He could still pop off a run. So you miss a tackle, he could take it to the crib, right? Yeah. And look, AJ Brown's not getting the ball, but damn, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith are 2 really good receivers. Dallas Goedert, top 5 tight end in the league, right? So, I mean, they're loaded everywhere. But I looked at an interesting stat actually, like a couple days ago. Jalen Hurts is 4th against man in EPA, meaning he's successful, but 30th against zone in EPA. So he's not he's really like not efficient in zone. So I expect Shep to do, like, in terms of coverage, a lot of what they did to Baker Mayfield. They showed man looks, but they disguised it and it turned into zone. They're going to try to confuse him a little bit. And I expect Jalen Hurts to take shots downfield with all the injuries in this sector. I know they haven't done that, but I think this is the week that they'll do it because the Lions are banged up in the secondary.
Yeah. I know I heard something about that too, is like where they played a contain on Baker Mayfield to a certain extent where they didn't make his legs a big thing. And that's going to be a big thing this week too, is Jalen Hurts' legs is a big threat. So if you could contain that and not make that a huge issue, is obviously going to be big as well. And also another thing is we know about Philadelphia, right? Tush push. You want to avoid anything short, third and short, fourth and short, avoid those as much as possible because, Philadelphia is one of those teams. If you're in 4th and 1 or you're 3rd and 1, they're pretty damn automatic of getting that first down. They have that play down to bat, whether you like it.
75%.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, they have a pretty down to bat to go out there and convert that. So for the Lions, you want to keep them in long situations, 2nd and long, keep them in 3rd and medium, just keep them out of the 3rd and shorts and the 4th and shorts because Philadelphia has that ability to pick that up. And then I also have another question for you guys. Terron Arnold, who's been a guy who's been really good the last 2 weeks, but obviously, unfortunately, suffered an injury, concussion in that Washington game. He's not going to be out there this Sunday, and that's a loss out there. It looks like they're going to probably lean on Rock Ya-Sin to go out there. Where's the confidence level out there with Rock Ya-Sin starting out there tonight?
Yeah, he's like a bigger, longer corner, so he actually matches up decently against A.J. Brown, and I'm sure they're going to have safeties over the top. I don't think they're going to leave him one-on-one. Right. So I think it's a solid matchup. Like, I'm not, like, too worried about it. I think Amik probably might shadow Devontae, and they'll put Rock on A.J. Brown. Maybe they'll do that. That's my guess. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they just stay on their side. So we'll see what they do this week.
Yeah, and then you expect Arthur Millette to still play that nickelback spot?
Yeah, but I think like they've said they like to play more base. So even Arthur Millette hasn't been playing a lot. They've been playing a lot of base defense. So
yeah, right. Since Amik's been more on the outside, it seems like they've gone to more of just the traditional 2 corners. But when they do go into the nickel, it seems like Arthur Millette is the first guy called upon when they want 3 corners out there. So yeah, I mean,
more Whiteside though. I think he's played the best out of those 3, Ya-Sin and Millette. Whiteside has made the best out of it. I think he deserves more snaps, to be honest.
In his limited opportunity, I feel like the only real game he got opportunity was the Tampa game.
Played great.
Yeah, I mean, he was phenomenal. Like, I mean, they targeted him 4 or 5 times. I had a whole spiel on him. He became one of my favorite players that night. So I like he was great in that game, but we haven't seen much of him since that game. So it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I expect it to be Rock Ya-Sin. But if he struggles, like you mentioned, the Lions have depth. Like they're not scared to pull the trigger or pull the leash on someone if someone's struggling because they have guys ready to roll. So, I mean, for the Lions' sake, hopefully it's just Rock Ya-Sin. Hopefully he's fine out there and we don't have to worry about the depth. But the Lions have guys that are ready to roll out there if you're struggling or if there's going to be an injury out there. So that is a positive. But Malcolm, you look at this Eagles offense, a lot of superstars. I talked about the tush push. How do you stop these guys?
Man, first thing first, man, you got to make sure that the running game don't go crazy. So we can limit Saquon Barkley as much as possible. And also, like you said, with Hurts, you want to take away his legs and just make him a pocket passer. If you could do that and also limit Saquon, I think the Lions have a really good chance of winning this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Something the Lions have to do better in this game that we kind of called them out last week, pass rush, man. I know this is a good Eagles front, but that front 4, man, they have to get home a little more often. Aiden Hutchinson, Ali McNeil, Al-Qadim Muhammad, like all these guys have to go out there and make plays out there. I mean, this is going to be one of those games where Jalen Hurts is a guy we mentioned that is prone to sacks, but is not easy to sack. So it's going to be one of those things where these guys, when they have the opportunity, they have to go out there and make plays because those could be the game changers in the game. And like I said, just keeping them out of 3rd and short, 4th and short. If you can sack them and keep them in long situations, that's when you see this Eagles offense get very stagnant. And then you can kind of eliminate slowly that running game and not make it a big issue and lean on Jalen Hurts' arm. Because if you lose off Jalen Hurts' arm, tip my cap. That's a tipping my cap. But you cannot lose because of Saquon Barkley and this running game in general. If Jalen Hurts is throwing it out there and slinging it, that's hit my cap. But that you got to keep him out of those situations where his legs and Saquon Barkley's legs are an issue.
Yeah, something about Hurts, like his O-line or his backside, good enough 12 sacked, but he's been like he's been sacked 25 times, 13 were on him though.
Yeah.
Holding the ball too long, rolling out, whatever. I don't think necessarily the D line is going to get pressures like they're just going to rush. I think they're playing more contained, but like if he steps out of the pocket, or if he tries to run, some dude will run right at him, like how they did with Lamar, kind of.
Right.
That's going to be the plan. I think to rush is going to be how they played the Ravens, but the plan in coverage is how they played the Bucs. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that does make sense. I agree with that ultimately, right? And when those opportunities come, they just have to make the plays, wrap up on tackles, and don't make them a big
Absolutely,
factor.
yeah. I mean, those guys like Saquon Barkley, like I said, you miss a tackle on him or even Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
I mean, you don't want those guys to go get in your secondary. It's not good.
Yeah. And we even talked about earlier in the week, A.J. Brown, like he's not having the season that he wants statistically, and obviously people are talking about it, but that's one of those guys, man, like you just cannot sleep on him. He could still make a play at any point in this game, so the Lions are obviously going to have to put a lot of focus on him, and Philly wants to get him involved, right? Like he's been animating himself. He's talking about it on social media. He said, if I'm on your fantasy team, get rid of me. So like, the Eagles want to get him involved. They want to make their star receiver happy. So the Lions got to be ready for him, man. Even though he's not producing to A.J. Brown standards, you still got to be ready for A.J. Brown at any time. Anytime.
What the? No, go ahead, guys. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened just now.
Don't click it, though.
What the? Whoa. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Malcolm, just remove this dude.
I mean, I can't.
I'll figure that out. Let's do predictions, and then we can head out of here. Here, I could ban him.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, all right. Let's do predictions. Pierre, you can start off. I believe what's the spread now? 2.5. Still.
Yeah, just move that out the way.
I'm gonna take it out. But yeah, just talk right now. And
yeah.
So 2.5.
So
2.5 spread.
Yeah, I think the Lions win and cover. I have 24-21. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I wouldn't be shocked if it goes the other way with Philly. I think it's going to be a close game all the way to the end. I think whoever has the ball will probably win the game.
Yeah. Bold prediction?
Bold prediction. Jalen Hurts has only thrown one pick all year. I think he throws 2 today.
Okay. Yeah, I won't count it towards your bold prediction, but if you can tell me the guys, I'll be even more impressed.
The guys? That's pretty hard.
Yeah, just call it. It doesn't have to be but let's see. Let's get creative.
Let's go with Jack Campbell,
okay.
And let's go with Thomas Harper.
Okay, those are different. I like those.
That is wild. That is wild.
I like those.
You said bold, right? You wanted bold.
Yeah, bold. But you said bold, not impossible. Not impossible. No. I mean, like if you listen like Brian Branch, I'm like, oh, maybe.
Yeah.
But shit. You said
Thomas Harper, Jack Campbell.
Jack Campbell. Fuck. That's a Hail Mary.
I think Jack could actually get one today because they're going to play a lot of zone. I think he could potentially. So we'll see.
All right. Let's see. All right. Lions predictions, 2.5 spread. This is going to be a tough game. Obviously, there's a lot of injuries. You're playing in a hostile environment. Big game that we're going to look back at in January one way or the other. Whether you win this or you lose this game, you're going to look back at this game in some capacity. I'm saying we're going to look at this game in a positive. This is going to be a game we're going to look back and, wow, I'm glad the Lions won this game in November because this was a big game in the standings. So the Lions are going to win this game. I'm going to go out there and say 28-21. Detroit wins this game, so they obviously win, and they're underdogs, so they're covering. Bold prediction. Hey, J-Mo had a big game last week, right? 1 touchdown, leading receiver on the team. Let's double that. 2 touchdowns today, 150 yards for our guy, number 1 now. Sorry, Jameson Williams.
About to say, Ennis Rakestar plays on offense? Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jameson Williams, big day for him. Malcolm, what do you got?
Yeah, man. So I'm looking at this game, man. This is a tough one, man. This is a game that, the Detroit Lions, if they lose this game, it's gonna be one of those games that everybody's gonna talk about. Like you said, man, like, oh, it's just really a Super Bowl team. They can't get past Philly. Now, everything is like looking as a negative if we lose this game. I don't see the offense taking a step backwards from last week. I'm hoping that this trend could continue and everything is going forward with this offense. And if that's happening, I see this being another high-scoring game. And as I'm saying that, I'm going to go 42-35 Lions.
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that Dan Campbell right now calling the plays, and right now everything is just clicking in all cylinders. And I don't see them taking a step back from last week. I just see them keep going forward and just having this team being that high-powered offense that we expect this team to be going forward. That's what I expect. So that's why I have it 42-35 Lions. Bold prediction. I like this is one I really like, because
you already said it with 42 points. But go ahead.
That's pretty bold. But my Bama brothers are out there. You have Jalen Hurts, you have on one side, then you have Brian Branch on the other side. So I think Brian Branch is gonna go absolutely crazy this game. So I'm gonna go Brian Branch gets a pick 6, 2 sacks, and a fumble recovery.
Damn.
He's gonna go crazy this game. Brian Branch gonna go be all over the place.
Okay. I like that. That's bold as fuck. I like that.
That's bold as hell. Almost impossible. Nearly impossible.
That might be worse than Piers. I thought Piers was bad.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jim.
I don't know, Jim. I don't know. No, I think Brian Branch is gonna be go crazy this game, man. So I like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got another Bama receiver on that team, Devontae Smith. That's one of you guys' boys too. So a lot of Bama out there, a lot of Alabama out there. Georgia obviously is well represented in this game. So SEC is well represented in these games. Both these GMs love their SEC talents, between Howie Roseman and Brad Holmes. So, hey man, that's what we say. That's where they breed. That's where they breed the talent. SEC. So I'm excited. We got Dylan Smith, Brock Wright, 2 tutties, 100 yards. That's both. I like it, Dylan.
I like that. Yeah.
All right.
And it's possible because I'm telling you, without Laporte, I can see him going a lot of Brock Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of quick passing in this game for the Lions.
We saw it last week, so I think we'll see it again this week. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be a wrap. We got about 10 minutes till game time, so hope you guys all grab that popcorn, go enjoy that game. This is going to be a good one, man. Sunday Night Football, Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Sunday Night Football, waiting all day. I got to go watch Carrie Underwood, so I will see you guys later. See you guys post. Hope you guys all enjoyed. I'm out, guys. Peace.
All right, guys. Enjoy the game. I'm out. Peace.
You're boy Malcolm, and I'm out, man. Peace.